Hi, everybody. Good Friday. Good grief. Goodness gracious. Wow, it has been an interesting week for me. I don't know if it has been for you as well. Uh, I'm part of that big shove from Pluto to Capricorn, leaving Capricorn. All my big threes. My big threes are all cardinal signs. So I'm finally getting released. So beware, watch out. Um, I have to tell you, we have some of the greatest practitioners at Resonant Essentials. I just got a reading from a candle wax reading from Owl Knowing here in Albuquerque. Stephanie is amazing. Big shout out to her. She is does some of the greatest work when you need energy shifted and moved, and I definitely did. And so she just gave me my wax reading and it was powerful. So thank you, Stephanie. If you like us, remember we've got Brother Francis comes in on Thursdays, and we've got Johanna on Sundays. We have a great team going. We would love to see more people subscribing. So if you know anybody who would be interested, please like and share our content. Brother Francis is our philosopher. I am the metaphysics instructor, and of course, he's metaphysics philosophy, and Johanna is our astrological forecaster. So thank you to all of them. Uh, we're going on to Mastering Metaphysics, the Foundations and Principles. This is our last chapter. So, gee, aren't you excited? We get to talk about something else next week. And this has been easy for me because having written the book, I know it cold, so I know really what I want to talk about. And so I'm going to read a little bit from the book um, and let you guys, I'm going to kind of skip around here with the information um, because I go through and I give you everything in the book that's really necessary. There's a lot more, chakras are a lot more involved, um, but you know, they are a vital part of our spiritual beingness. So, chapter 13, page 133, beginning of the chapter, chakras, pronounced chakras, are often defined as our psychic centers of energy. In Sanskrit, this chakra means wheels. They are vibratory in nature. Our chakras are linked to sound, light, colors, and vibration. They open and close with our thoughts, emotions, and experiences. There's a long held myth that the chakras are held within our soft tissue. For example, the second chakra is often noticed as being 2 inches below our belly button and 2 inches within the body. While the 2 inches below the belly button is correct, the chakra is located more inward, within the spine, with the dural tube helping to feed and balance our chakras. The dural tube is filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Boy, I am having a tough time talking today, so I apologize. It has its own rhythm or pulse. The main function of the cerebrospinal fluid is to provide cushioning for the brain while also acting as a shock absorber. The fluid also helps circulate nutrients and chemicals from the blood to the brain and removes the waste products from the brain. It is this tube filled with fluid that also acts as the kundalini. The kundalini in yogic terms is found at the base of the spine or the root chakra. And when activated, it is referred to as the fires of the kundalini. Our chakras are open, activated when the fires are lit. Meditation is one way to activate the kundalini. And when activated, the serpent uses the dural tube starting at the base of the spine. As our levels of awareness rises, the chakras are activated and our vibration rises accordingly. Spiritual awakening and unfoldment are another way to activate the fires of the kundalini. This rise in spiritual unfoldment can be seen as the lighting of the kundalini path through our chakras. One of the things that I wanted to really kind of get down to with the chakras is they don't really open and close. They ebb and flow. Um, they flow positive, negative. So depending on the chakra, clockwise can be positive in some chakras and turning clockwise can be negative in others. So they kind of do this up your body. So I would think of the heart chakra as flowing as a counter, and I know that. So then I know my throat chakra is clockwise. So it's counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, and then going down the same way, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. Um, One of the things that I want to say about chakras, most importantly, is that people go and they spend a lot of money getting their chakras balanced, and that works for all of maybe 5 minutes. It's nice, it's relaxing. You pay $75, and then you walk out the door, and you start thinking, and you might have a flashback. Oh, I left the coffee pot on. I've got to get home to turn off the coffee before I rush off to work. Well, that's going to throw your chakras off. So that $75 that you spent to balance your chakras doesn't stay, because our chakras are attuned to our emotions and our thoughts. And that's how we regulate our chakras. So spending the $75 to have them tuned, while is a great experience and can help if you're going to be able to, you're struggling, you need to go into meditation, you can bring those chakras up in frequency, but you have to be able to hold that frequency. Anything that changes your focus is going to change the way those flow. So knowing, and in the book, you get the personality traits. Because the personality traits, you can tell with yourself, oh man, I've been stressing out about how to pay the house payment this month. And so your root chakra could be, struggling. It would also affect your third chakra, which is the master of our emotions. And we struggle with this because it's human. It's our human kind. It's our human way of being. When we don't know the personality traits, if we don't understand that, then we don't always recognize when we're out of balance. And even if you do know them, you're still going to struggle with them being out of balance, because no one's perfect. If we were perfect, we will have reached the Christ consciousness, and we'd step out and we'd raise our frequency up so high our body would dissipate, and we just go manifest it somewhere else. So there you have it. We have a lot of misinformation about the chakras, because people like to make it seem magical and mystical. Nothing in your body, nothing in your mind or your spirit should ever be considered magical and mystical, because it's the truth of who you are. It's your finding that frequency, finding that truth for yourself. That's not magic. That's just recognizing the truth of who you are, letting go of the fear that you might have in a relationship with your boss. And the boss always comes in cranky and yelling and demanding, and you fear his retribution because he holds your paycheck in balance. Hey, you have to do this for your paycheck. You must work overtime. You must not answer emergency calls from your family. These are all things that are dedicated to keeping us oppressed. And the more we allow this oppression of our spiritual self, the more we struggle with how that works. We struggle with our relationships when we get home. We struggle with how we treat our animals. We struggle with how we treat ourselves, most importantly. And these are the things that we don't understand when we're looking at this. There are mantras. You can listen to tones. I have a complete CD a friend of mine made me. It gives me the tones of the chakras. It's 35 minutes. So if I want to change my frequency, I'm going to listen to that CD. Let's just say I'm really struggling with some stress. As soon as I put it on with the tones being clear, I can say the mantras and I'm in a better place. But again, keeping ourselves there is another thing. Driving down the highway or, the road to work, somebody cuts you off, and your initial reaction is to lay on the horn and flip them off. Well, your chakras aren't really expressing positivity, are they? Listening to music. I was listening to a video of Leonard Skinner, and they had put some dancers in, and these dancers were dancing to Leonard Skinner. They did such a good job. I rewatched the video 4 or 5 times, not only because I like Leonard Skinner, but because these kids really did a great job dancing, and I enjoyed the upliftment. We can get that. We can step away from fear. We can step away from the politics of our home, our office, our country, and take some time out and get out of that fear so that that doesn't oppress us. These are just some of the things that are really important in recognizing exactly what we should be doing as spiritual beings looking for spiritual progression. Unfortunately, I think a lot of times we look outside ourselves. And when we look outside ourselves, we're looking at people who are going to go in and they are going to tell us how to think, or they're going to make it a miracle happen for us. And we're looking for people who have an answer for our healing instead of us doing the work. And it's really a struggle, which is why I wrote the book, is that I wanted to put the power back in the hands of the people it belongs to. You have the power to spiritually progress. You don't need a guru. You need your own truth finder. You need to find what resonates with you. Listening to people who teach, absolutely, but you want to make sure that they're teaching you something that's true. I've noticed some content creators that are teaching things that I'm cringing on. First off, I hear them and they're repeating things they've heard on other channels, and then they're making it their own, and I wonder about the integrity. So find your truth by studying, by learning, by reading, and there's a great selection of books. If you're interested in getting any of, I have a complete literature list. It's a really great one to get people kind of going in the direction of where they want to go, that I have found useful for me finding my truth, not for me reading somebody else's truth, but for me to find my truth. If you're interested in that, just email me at michelle@resonantessentials.com, and I'll happily share that literature list with you. I think that the more we know and the more we empower ourselves to know, the less we get caught up in that wheel of right and wrong based on somebody else's opinions. I have a lot of friends that we think differently in many aspects. I have one in particular who texts me all the time what's going on politically, and I let him do it because it makes him happy, but I have my own thoughts, and I don't let politics govern my life. I don't get wound up. I did my share of protesting back in the day, and I've done my share of protesting in more recent years, but I also realized that there's a element to both sides being the same, and we can't let ourselves spiritually divide over this, because that's exactly how it works. It brings fear. So if you're interested in learning these things, I would highly recommend my own book, Mastering Metaphysics, Foundations and Principles, because going through here, you're going to look at creation a little bit differently. You're going to look at karma a little bit differently. You're going to look at how judgment acts against us, because who do we judge hardest is ourselves. But looking at judgment from a way that brings us upliftment and we get control. These are just some of the things that I think are really important for those steps to higher consciousness. There's books that I've had on my shelf. Believe me, I have books on my shelf for years and years and years, and I reread them. And there are other books that are on Audible that I listen to because, the original's got such tiny little print that, and the pages are worn through, that it just behooves me to listen because I almost know the books by heart anyway, but they're gentle reminders. Um, I think it's really good if we self study. I think it's also very good if we monitor our um, dependence upon somebody giving us truths. I don't want to see anybody listening to me 24/7 thinking I'm an amazing guru. Um, I want them to listen to me because I had something of value that said and it sparked something for them, and they went and researched to become their own guru. Our truth, our light, depends on us becoming brighter and lighter. I woke up thinking this morning anger is a laundry bag of soiled clothing for our soul, and laughter, light, whitens and brightens it. So, with that being said, there's ways of lightening your soul, of lightening your heart, of lightening your frequency. We're in for our big shift. Like I said, yay me. Cancer, Cancer, Capricorn. So I'm real excited to hit the release, refresh button for myself. Um, I didn't realize that I was looking so forward to this day as I did when I woke up. So I hope all of you experience the same wonderful day, the same sense of release, and the same sense of wonderment. My heart to all of yours. I will see you next week. And I don't know the topic because, we're going to go back to what I'm impressed to talk about. My heart to all of yours. Bye for now.